So could there very well be a huge announcement that's upcoming when it comes to Zebec? Well, I think maybe based off of what the CEO said recently. And let me explain what that is in today's video, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though this is just my personal perspective, I am not telling anyone to do anything. However, I recently saw a post by someone of the name of GhostWeb3. Now, they made a post and I saw them talk about a specific clip from Simon in the Paul Barron podcast. Now, of course, I can't show it because, it's not my podcast, but I'm just saying it was a very impressive detail that he caught. And what is it? It was actually a mention about ADP, which stands for Automatic Data Processing. Keep in mind, ADP is in the Fortune 500. It's a very massive company out there that's really focused on payrolls. But what did we hear about that? So basically, we saw how Simon, the CEO of Zebec, did mention how a few former C-suite executives at ADP are on their board of directors since the beginning. However, that wasn't really something that was like so groundbreaking, right? Something else that he mentioned was he said that somewhere along the lines of his belief is that we're going to be working alongside ADP rather than competing with them. And they say how ADP is on their horizon. So maybe a partnership right there, that could be huge because again, Zebec, it's really focused on payrolls. ADP historically is very focused on payrolls. Keep in mind, ADP has been in the Fortune 500 list basically for 30 years at this point, approximately. That's really massive. Keep in mind, it's currently ranked around 220th on the Fortune 500 to my understanding. And we take a look at its revenue. The last time I checked, it was around $20 billion. Right, when it comes to ADP. Very massive player in the payroll space. And if Zebec could maybe have a collaboration with them moving forward, that would be so massive, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Because people like to say, well, it's a sign of weakness. Well, I don't think so. It's kind of like, as the old saying goes, right? If you can't beat them, join them. Why not, right? I mean, Zebec's never overtaking ADP, in my opinion. So if they could do something together, that'd be really impressive. It's like, for instance, let me just give an analogy when it comes to this. In case someone follows boxing or something like that, I'm just going to use this example. Like, let's take a look at, for instance, Anthony Joshua. He had a boxing match twice with Alexander Usyk, lost both times. Now, traditionally, maybe some other boxers out there would kind of be averse to ever training with their former adversary's team. But guess what? Anthony Joshua, before he had a boxing match with Jake Paul, which, I didn't really find it that entertaining, to be honest. But besides that, we saw Anthony Joshua before he had the boxing match with Jake Paul. He trained with Alexander Usyk's team. So kind of like, again, as the old saying goes, right? If you can't beat him, might as well join him. We kind of saw that with Anthony Joshua. So if Zebec kind of does that, to a certain extent, if they do an Anthony Joshua, so to speak, right? If they work with ADP alongside them instead of competing, that's a massive thing in my opinion. I think if anything, it's actually a smart move when it comes to Zebec because, what are they going to do? Try to beat ADP? Yeah, that's just a little bit difficult in my opinion. So why even bother with that? Might as well just work alongside them maybe. But again, keep in mind, the CEO of Zebec says ADP is on their horizon. So yeah, that'd be pretty massive. And again, just like I mentioned before, he says that his belief is that they're going to be working alongside ADP. So that would be pretty massive, right? Again, if they could announce something of that magnitude, that would just be really impressive in my opinion. We'll wait and see though. But in the meantime, we have to consider when it comes to Zebec, we've already seen, right? The Algorand's partnership, the Stellar partnership. And again, we've already seen the CEO of Zebec mention a Ripple partnership. We already see that trifecta. Now, if there's ADP there adding the fourth, now it wouldn't be a trifecta anymore, but I'm just saying, that'd be really impressive actually if they could do that. Just when I thought that, Zebec was already kind of at its peak in terms of what they could accomplish, more or less in terms of the fundamentals, they continue to surprise me. So I do like seeing that actually. I think it's just a very impressive thing that the CEO of Zebec still has these ambitions. They keep trying to improve. Do they really need to? I mean, some would arguably say no, but at the same time, they're still trying to improve. That's just really massive, in my opinion, right? I think that in the grand scheme of things, yes, Zebec is well below a 400 million market cap, but the things that they're doing is not really reminiscent, right? It doesn't really remind me of a project that is of this size. Usually projects that are trying to do these type of massive things, it's like Chainlink, for instance, something that's really massive market cap when it comes to Link. Its native token is already in the billions. When I take a look at Solana doing things, when I take a look at in the case of Ripple, these are really massive projects. Usually they're the ones trying to make moves like this. We rarely see that with a project that is below a 400 million market cap, which of course Zebec is as of right now. Kind of impressive actually in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I didn't expect them to do that. All these things basically, right? I mean, keep in mind, when I first held Zebec, market cap was below 100 million. And at that time, fundamentally, it was very underwhelming. Now, sure, it had very impressive backers like Solana Ventures, and also we take a look at Circle. That was no kind of surprise, but for quite a while, everyone thought, what did they see in Zebec that we don't see, right? Because we didn't really know all of these internals at that time. To a large extent, a lot of people that I knew, they didn't really know what was really going on when it comes to Zebec. So it was kind of a big question mark, like why was Circle a backer when it comes to Zebec? Why is Solana Ventures even believing in something like Zebec? A lot of people were kind of questioning that. They thought it was just a joke. But now we're beginning to see things unravel in a good way, right? In which case where we're beginning to see the fundamental improvements when it comes to Zebec, like ISO 20022, MICA, SOC2, right? The thing is, when we see all this, I'm beginning to kind of see, okay, maybe that's why Circle cares about them. Oh, maybe that's why OKX Ventures, Coinbase Ventures, and so on, maybe that's why they care a little bit about Zebec. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but I'm just saying, though, that's just from what I can observe. That's the thing. And I like their mindset as well, because another kind of, if you can't beat them, might as well join them type of mindset is Zebec having a partnership with Stellar and as well as Ripple, right? I mean, if we think about it, Ripple, it's more massive than Zebec. I just don't see how Zebec can overtake that in the next couple of years. There's just kind of no way. I don't see Zebec overtaking Stellar either in the next couple of years. So them having a partnership with both Stellar and Ripple, that's like also, right? If you can't beat them, might as well join them. Keep in mind, the partnership with Ripple has an aspect of payrolls. If we take a look at, let's say, if they maybe do something with ADP, I'm assuming that it's probably going to have to do with payrolls as well, right? ADP is already very focused on payrolls, and Zebec is focused on instant payrolls. So it's kind of like that cohesion. It would be a very cohesive hypothetical partnership. That's just my mentality, but I'm just saying. I'll be sure to make more updates when it comes to Zebec moving forward. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Willie the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.